Hey, it's Julie with Hard Road to Hoe. I'm here today because we're finally disgorging our sparkling wine. It's been bottled for about 11 months now. It's been sitting on its side, developing flavors. It's finally the day that we're going to disgorge this sediment that's in the bottle. We did the riddling process. You may have seen that video as well, where we get all these the lees, the dead yeast cells, collected in the bottom, and this is what we're going to eject. So step one is to set it in this dry ice here. Now the goal here is to just freeze the sediment. You know, if we freeze too much of the neck when we pop the bottle, it will be frozen solid. It won't eject immediately, which is okay. We just have to sit there and wait for it to thaw basically, and then it pops. But the goal is to get it just frozen enough that we keep the sediment together, but not so frozen that it doesn't eject immediately. Dry ice is very cold. This is just a tray full of dry ice. So you might remember this is a blend, you know, Chardonnay and Marsanne. You know, the Marsanne was actually aged for 1 year in the barrel, so it's a non-vintage wine. This is a term we use to describe a wine that has spanned different vintages or harvest seasons. So the Chardonnay is 2023 and the Marsanne is 2022. When we are picking wine for sparkling, we pick it very early in the season for a number of reasons. One, we want the sugars to be low because then we'll wind up with a lower alcohol. You know, a delicate sparkling wine can't take a lot of ethanol. It'll taste hot, as we call it, but you'll like taste the alcohol. We don't want that. We want a very elegant kind of profile, and so we want to pick it while the sugars are low. And we also want a nice bright acidity, which grapes that are picked earlier in the season tend to, you know, have brighter acidity that gives the sparkling wine its nice crisp flavor, as well as mouthfeel. Also, in this case, we don't want it to develop a lot of varietal character, right? We're kind of picking it while the wine is still a little like insipid. We want a kind of a blank slate because a lot of the flavors in champagne or sparkling wines are developed by the lees, the sediment that rests at the bottom of the bottle. And you get a lot of those nutty or amaretto kind of flavors while the bottle is aging on its side, you know? And so if the wine itself has too many flavors, you don't pick up those subtle nuances that come from the lees aging. A classic champagne can rest on its side for years. You know, we aren't going to be waiting that long. Unfortunately, I'm not that patient. It's only been about a year. And so we do need to add some body and some character to this wine in another way. So that's why we selected this barrel of Marsanne. This is barrel-aged Marsanne. It's aged in neutral oak, meaning it's a barrel that's been used several times, so it doesn't have a ton of oaky character. It's not super woody, but there is a subtleness to it. It's got a nice round mouthfeel. So by blending the Marsanne with this fresh picked young Chardonnay, we're kind of mimicking that spirit kind of a more traditional sparkling wine. It is going to be different definitely than a champagne, but it's going to have kind of the same character, a more rounder mouthfeel, a more balanced kind of wine in the end without us having to wait all those years. So it's kind of a unique and interesting wine in its own right, but still respects the spirit of champagne and on a shorter timeline.